Yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, you're just competing against yourself, you know?
Yeah, well, people say that when they can't get on the podium. You know?
Oh, I've been there. Don't worry.
Your last Irish PF then was Nationals last year.
Nationals 23, yeah, which was the end of end of February?
End of February, yeah.
So a long time now. But yeah, it wasn't, I didn't make a conscious decision to go away from the Irish PF, but I did want to do ABS series last November, which I inevitably pulled out of due to
your back, was it?
Combination of things. Yeah, I was stressed. Work was quite stressful, and as a result, yeah, my back was killing me. Like, I remember literally not being able to put my socks on in the morning some days, and I was just absolutely broke up. I wasn't able to do too much, and I didn't really want to compete and not be able to give my all. I know that a lot of people would say, oh, you should just go out and enjoy it, more experience, but I was like, fuck this, I can't do it. So I said I'd leave it, and I gave myself the Christmas to enjoy myself and just slowly get back into love and training again, get some momentum behind me. And I did over Christmas, over January. That's where I saw like the most amount of progress in recent times. And I came into April with good contention to get on the podium at least. And yeah, that led me to April, where I had an opportunity to pull for the win. Of course, it didn't go to plan, but
we were just talking about before we start recording. So
give it a good crack.
Yeah, it was worth loading it. So I'm sure anyone that was listening that was there might remember for the Division 1 battle, you're basically contending against TJ, Tristan Jacobs. So I think you've had something of a like frenemy relationship with over the past like 18 months or so.
Yeah.
TJ's obviously been on the podcast a few times and has actually given you some of your free goodies for today.
Thank you, TJ.
For Total Performance Labs. So it was 250 kilo opener, 270 kilo second, both moving fine, both moving good. And then you were in the back talking to your coach, Dav, and it was like, look, if we load 300, was that for the full win? That wins Division 1?
That was for first place, yeah.
Right.
So we were just calculating in the back because I was going into the competition because I had pulled 290 in training and I was like, yeah, feeling good, feeling confident going into these deadlifts here now. TJ pulled his final deadlift. I think it was a 265, I believe, something along those lines.
Right.
So he kind of forced my hand. So Dav looks at me. He's like, well, look, we can stick a 9 for 9 or we can go for the win, which would be 300 kg. And I just looked down. I was like, yeah, load it up. You have to.
How did you get it off floor?
No.
It was glued to the floor?
Yeah.
Do you think it was just too big of a jump?
Yeah, and another thing a lot of people need to take into consideration on competition day, you're after doing 3 squats, you're after doing 3 benches, hopefully. And you're after doing
shut up.
And you're after doing your opener and your second attempt on deadlift before even considering what is your max on the day. Whereas when you're in training, the stars are aligning. You know, your music's playing, you're after eating maybe 3 or 4 meals all day, you've been well rested, you haven't been squatting or benching beforehand, and yeah, it's just a completely different kettle of fish, which you need to take into consideration and that's why competition is completely different to training.
Even just environmentally. Like, if you think about it, like, you know, I know we train in ABS powerlifting, and obviously a lot of the meets are run out of the club, but obviously we don't get to train out on the competition platform. But even so, it never feels like the same place when it's competition. It feels totally different. I don't know what it is. It's so bizarre. I think it's something with the curtains going up. When I walk into ABS to train, it feels a certain way, and I walk into ABS for a competition, for an ABS series, it feels like a totally different venue.
People must find it intimidating, I'd say, because it is very intimate when all the curtains are up. Everybody's up on top of you. The referees are like within breathing distance.
I love it, man.
It's great. I love competing there.
Were you over for the pro in the Red Cow?
Not this one. No, I wasn't around for this one, but. Even at that, because I was there for the USAPL comp,
so you get
alone there, and I got a lot more spacious, a lot more space for.
I think something was lost though because of that. Because
the atmosphere.
No, the atmosphere was still good, but I think there's just something uniquely magic about that little dirty warehouse in Finglas, and everything being on top of you. Like, you know what I mean? It's definitely a massive fire hazard. But like,
fuck that.
We were talking about it after the pro, so I had a sit down with Jay, Dave Richardson, Jake, and Luke Tolman, and we were talking a little bit about it, and it was like, that comp ran really smoothly for being an external venue. I couldn't get over how well it ran, like, because usually you were like, something's going to go wrong, a TV is not going to turn on, lifting cast is going to break, we're all going to have Wi-Fi, the live stream's going to go down, something was going to go wrong, but it didn't. It all ran grand, you know what I mean? Except for the 2 girls bombing out, that was embarrassing. But in any case, I think there was just that little something that just wasn't there that is present in abs. And I'm sure you're somebody who's lifted in the RHPF and some other federations, am I right? AIPO or IPO?
No,
No?
IDFPA.
IDFPA,
That's where I met TJ.
Ah, right.
That's where our rivalry began, I suppose. My very first competition, in fairness to TJ, before that competition, that was in 2019, I believe. So very first powerlifting competition. My coach at the time was a member of IDFPA. So he was like, do you want to compete? It was up in a leisure or a hotel in Monaghan, I think.
Sounds
And
awful.
It was. It was just basically a hall with a couple of floors. And that was pretty much it. You could see everybody warming up and everything just sitting there in the hotel chairs being like... But like TJ, before that, he was on my flight and he texted me, wishing me luck. I didn't know who he was at the time. And I was like, oh, that sounded of him. And I went out and bet him.
Yeah. Well, at least you've done it once.
Yeah, so it's 1-1 at the moment.
Oh, grand. Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
so
keep
we're
that
coming into
rolling.
November. Hopefully, could sneak in a little W there. I know
Yeah.
he's in wraps, but we've been through this before.
I think that's going to be a good week, a good flight of competition. I sometimes think Division 1 is sometimes forgotten about because it's kind of wedged between like the upstarts in Division 2, and then you got the pro am lifters who are like, you know, just at that cusp of qualifying for the pro, and then you've got like Division 1 as it's kind of here. But Division 1 lifters are like a really high standard as well. But the question I wanted to ask from that experience, so you have IDFPA, Irish PF, and you've done a few series as well. I think there's just something unique about lifting at the series that just it's not quite the same at other meets. And I'm not saying those meets aren't, like, obviously I lift in the RHPF, I have a good time, but like I think I don't know if it's just the way the series is presented or the way it's ran or the media around it or the building itself. What do you think it is?
I think the series are ahead of the curve when it comes to powerlifting with the classes. I think that is the way to go. Because everybody's competitive, whether you are an absolute beginner in Division 2 or you are trying to sneak your way into a Pro-Am or you are literally trying to go back-to-back in the Pro, like Dave Richardson or someone like that. Everybody's competitive, whereas when you're in you're only in a weight class in other federations and that's about it. Maybe you can sneak onto a podium, but there's not really rivalries building out of that. The head-to-heads is everything. Records come and go, as we've always discussed on this podcast before. And yeah, I feel that just having those rivalries in place, it just makes it way more entertaining. Nobody really cares, unless it's a monumental lift, let's say like a 300 deadlift. Nobody really cares what you're lifting on the day. They just care who wins, who loses, who bombs out.
Who beats who?
Who beats who, basically. And it's kind of, it's building off the likes of, as I know Jay has always mentioned it, he wants his ab series to kind of replicate the darts, where it's just pure entertainment. UFC, who beats who on the night, and then you'll just do the same thing next week and just make it entertaining, building up people's backstories, their history, so like the rivalries that are involved. And that's what's entertaining. That's what people want to watch. People want to see backstories.
I completely agree. Like, you know, I've a pro wrestling background.
Exactly,
So
this is class.
Well, I mean, it's had its pros and cons in my life. But in any case, I would definitely say this about that, is that anything can be a backdrop to a good story. It doesn't, like, because people have kind of said that powerlifting is too boring to go mainstream. You mentioned the darts. The darts is literally a load of overweight lads that are usually drunk, throwing little teeny darts at a board. It's not that entertaining, right? Even look at how big like fucking snooker is, pool, like, you know what I mean? Again, it's not that entertaining. You can recognize the level of skill if you've played the game yourself. And I think that's what makes it relatable. You know what I mean? So people recognize how important it is and they can build up these two athletes to do, you know, to go to battle, like these two figure, even chess, like, you know what I mean? Chess is not that entertaining to watch, but if you know who the chess players are and how good they are and how skilled they are, you'll watch a game more intently. And I think it's the same for anything. Like, frankly, I'm not a football guy. I'm not a fan of football. I think football is an incredibly boring game. I think rugby is a far better game. I don't give a fuck who that triggers over here. Listen, man, right? Everyone in this country prays for the downfall of the English at every sporting event, yet they all watch the Premier League. Nobody watches League of Ireland. They go, because League of Ireland's shy. Go and fucking watch it and it'll get better. Bollocks to that. These are all fucking West Brits, right?
Yeah, I can't argue. I'm a United fan, so.
Listen, man, whatever. You like what you like, but the point is you're far more invested in probably the team and the individual players and, like, you know, who's been, like, for example, if like Ronaldo was purchased by your team and now
Mhm.
suddenly, or like you had him and then the other team now have him. That's like big news. The games themselves are significantly less important. Now, I will obviously say like the World Cup, Premier League carry a level of prestige. And that's another thing I think the series has done well. You mentioned a moment ago with the records. Like you said, records come and go. No one cares, man. No one cares about the bench press record in the under 83 kilo weight class back in 2017 because no one even knows who was lifting back then.
Mhm.
However, people know who won the Abs Pro in 2018, 2019, 2021, 2022, 2023. People can tell you who won the Abs Pro because there's only ever one male champion and one female champion. You don't have, see, even like I've got Western Euros in a couple of weeks, right?
Mhm.
There's going to be top 3 podium for total, who actually wins. Then there's going to be top 3 podium for squat, bench, and deadlift. And then there's going to be like a best lifter and a best team. So that's a lot of medals. Like Joanne Clark was with us last year. And she was one of the only lifters in the under 47s. Joanne's lovely, but I think she had 5 medals. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I can't say shit because I think I got a little participation plaque or something. But the point is that which one means the most then? You know what I mean?
Exactly, because if you come to me and say, "Oh, I came second in total and you have a silver medal, but I placed first with a deadlift medal, but I came paddy last in the other 2, but I have the gold medal," whose is of more importance then?
Yeah.
You know? Whereas, with the Ab Series, who won the belt?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
There's no other little participation trophies or any little shit like that. It's literally who won the belt this year, and it's very easy to know who did it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's the way it should be. Even in the entire time I've been in powerlifting, I have won twice, come first twice.
Yeah?
Yeah, I won the first ever Division 1 I won. So back in Ab Series 1, 2, and 3, there was no Division 1 and 2. That didn't exist. Right?
Holy shit. Was that 2019 then?
2020 was the first Division 1. So they
2020, okay.
they've since retroactively kind of said, oh, this was a Division 1. It wasn't. The first one was Ab Series 4.
Okay.
Right? And it was the 2 heavy hitters coming into it were me and I think Shane Story. And I beat him and I have my little trophy and it's a little helmet on a stand. It's class. And then I won the Irish PF Last Chance in December 2022.
Oh, very good.
So they're the only 2 flights I've ever won. So like that, this is something you'll see in powerlifting a lot where people are like, oh, I want to do it, but I'm really competitive, so I can't win. I don't want to do it. It's like, man, that's not competitiveness. You're just, it's ego driven. You have a delicate ego. You don't win these things that often unless you're world class.
Yeah. A competitive person is someone that competes against themselves.
Yes.
Because I've been there before. I've seen people, clients even in considering participating in some sort of competition, be it powerlifting or something like that. And they're like, oh no, I'd only compete if I knew that I had a chance to win. And I'm like, would you fuck off? That's not competition. Competition is trying to beat your previous bests. And that's all because that's all you can control.
Well, it's also a case of if you're on a flight of 10 people and you're 10th, you're still a million places ahead of everyone sat at home on the couch who didn't bother signing up because they were too afraid they wouldn't be competitive. But you just mentioned there that you when you're coaching clients yourself, I suppose probably just explain who the fuck you are. Obviously many of the people that will tune in know you lift with Abs Powerlifting, you're an online personal trainer is probably the wrong word now. You've kind of moved on from that. Online coach, you run your own business, you work closely with Ben Crockwell of the Better Man Project as well. So who the hell is Mark Hayes?
Yeah, I think you gave that a pretty good description there. But yeah, I am not now an online coach. I come from a background of personal trainer. And before that, I was a mechanical engineer. So I made a bit of a change, quarter life crisis, if you will, during lockdown. So it was during that time where I was working from home and I was like, I am not fulfilled doing this whatsoever. I know that I cannot sit here for the next 40 years, do this job. It's just not what I want to do. I knew that I did want to do something involved with fitness, be it personal training, maybe an S&C coach, something along those lines. So I got to work. I started studying after hours in the evening time. I did a diploma with Setanta College, if you're aware of them, down in Thurles.
I am, unfortunately.
Yes. If we want to get into that, we can. Fucking FMS. Doing all that. So I was going over maybe once every 3 weeks to do in-person practical assessments and shit like that. And yeah, got my degree. There was a job opportunity open up when the gyms were opening back up again. This was 2021, I believe. And a good friend of mine from home, Emmett Quinlan, it was his gym. He was applying, he was looking for applicants. I put my name in, risking it because I had no experience. I barely had a qualification. And yeah, he took a chance on me, I suppose. And I'm really, really thankful for that. And that's where I got my experience on the floor. So I was a one-to-one personal trainer for more than 2 years there. And then pretty much out of the blue, in May 2022, I believe, he sat me down one evening and he said, look, Mark, I'm really sorry, but I'm closing the gym. And I was like, oh, okay, when's this happen? In 7 weeks' time. I was like, right, I need to get my shit together. So I basically had 7 weeks to transition from a one-to-one personal trainer with not too much experience with the whole online scene to a fully online coach running my own business. So yeah, that had its own challenges and stuff. But because of that, because of the experience on the floor, because of the really high standards that he set, I was well able to transition. And yeah, here we are now, well over a year later of me just being a fully online coach. And yeah, it has this completely different challenges. It has many differences to an impersonal coach, impersonal trainer. But yeah, here we are.
Yeah,
I'm loving it. It's really fun. It's so fulfilling.
I think you had probably the correct way to transition. I don't mean like Emmett dropping it on you with 7 weeks notice, but I mean, you did put boots on the ground. You were doing it in person. And I think that's like the invaluable part a lot of newer trainers miss.
Yeah,
so
big time.
I work with Image Fitness occasionally. The Image Fitness qualify a lot of personal trainers. And a massive part of it now is like, yeah, I want to be an online trainer. And a lot of it is that they think this is class because it's not as much work. I'm like, no, it's way more work. And you have to know way more what you're doing. In person's grand. The margin for error is much bigger because realistically, what people are truly paying for a lot of the time in person is to get to chat to you for a bit of an hour, feel comfortable in the gym. The clientele you're going to work with online are usually a bit more advanced. They usually need they're going to be, in my experience, they're like, obviously my spearhead's a little different to you. I work primarily with powerlifters, though I do have a few general population clients as well. But a lot of them are very much like, they can go to the gym and train themselves. They don't need me holding their hand. You know what I mean? A lot of what they're looking for is like, look, Chief, free up the mental bandwidth, 10 my fucking program I'm running, what am I meant to eat, and I'm going to go and fucking do the job. And they do, and it's great. Whereas, you know yourself, you know, Mary from down the street is like, well, I've never been in a gym before. And you're like, come on, Mary, we'll show you how to do a TRX row. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a different set of circumstances.
Big time, yeah. Because when you are one-to-one, when you are on the floor, you are getting a lot more of those kind of clients because they're coming in for the social aspect more so than anything. You're spending maybe 15 minutes assessing their technique or whatever. But the other 45, she's telling you of how she was out at the weekend and how the picnic went, you know, shit like that. Whereas when you are online, there's a lot more detail involved. And the majority, like the main reason why you get online coaching is for accountability over anything else. You can throw as much value to them as you want, give them as much information, as much videos and how top 5 ways to lose weight, calorie deficit, blah, blah, blah. Like, they don't want that. That's what they're paying you to know. They're paying you to know how to do that for them. All they're paying for is the result. And the only way they're going to get there is through accountability. And I'm the very same. Like, I have 2 coaches at the moment. So Shane Story, as you mentioned, I have him for nutrition and Dav for my powerlifting.
Yeah.
I know how to powerlift. I know how to gain weight. I know how to lose weight. But on a Sunday evening when I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh, I don't really need to do this check-in, do I? Shane Story will text me Monday, where's your check-in, man? You know? Without having that accountability, there will be weeks there where you could just put it on the long finger.
Take the foot off the gas, yeah.
Exactly. And those are the reasons why people don't get the results that they're after. It's because they don't have that accountability. Whereas if you do have someone on your neck, I suppose, for at least once a week or something like that, just touching in and being like, here, how's the week been going? Little things like that go a long way for getting them big results because it's not instant gratification you're looking for, really, when it comes to fat loss or something like that.
You're exactly right. It is. And I think that's part of the issue that you'll see. Like, this is one of the reasons I want to have you on so we can have this chat, right? Because some of the other people I have on, you know, they're powerlifters first, or like they're specific athlete first. Whereas like your bread and butter is like mine. You make a living off working with people. That's why I've had Ben Crockwell on here. We've had some good conversations around this similar topic, but like, just because you know, you obviously work with Ben. Ben's really like fucking like razor sharp business focused. This is like bang, 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 bang. Whereas we can kind of like chop it up a little bit. So this is kind of one of the interesting things I think about this field that we find ourselves in, right? Because fitness and training, nutrition, health, whatever you want to call it, all these umbrella terms, they kind of don't mean one thing. Do you know what I mean? And so we talk about like the word accountability or responsibility or whatever it might be, right? And the thing you'll oftentimes find is I think it's easy to say, look, people needs accountability. And I do think that's true. And I do think people could do it without a coach, but I think it's easier with a coach because you're basically paying somebody to be a pain in your hole. And most of the things people want take longer to get than they realize. Like there's a very common expression that you've got more body fat than you think you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which is definitely true. It's going to take a bit longer. It's going to take a bit more work. And the entire step of the way is not necessarily going to be enjoyable. But just because it's not an enjoyable process doesn't mean the outcome's not going to be enjoyable, right? But this is what I think is an interesting facet of it, right? When we talk about particularly what online, I think the people that will opt into online are already to a degree committed to the process. Now I know sometimes you get people who aren't committed, but I know from my experience, if I have somebody who's coming to me, particularly for powerlifting, like I want to participate in powerlifting, they've already self-selected to be part of a population that wants to participate in this very niche sport, you know? Whereas if we talk about the gym floor, that's like people that have decided, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym. And that's about as far as the decision making's gone. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to give this guy money. How much does it cost? What the fuck is very expensive? And then usually you're trying to it's like a value proposition. Whereas people that are at the point of, say for you, for like Shane Story, working with Shane Story, working with Evidas, the price probably mattered a lot less than the result. You're probably like, look, I know these guys know what they're doing. Like I've worked with Shane. Shane's fantastic nutrition coach. And like that, I was like, look, I need a result. You know how to get the result. How much does it fucking cost? What do I have to do? And but like you and I would be very different to the average person. So what has been your experience now with working with your own clients, working with people in the Better Man Project versus working with those people on the gym floor? Have you found that difference in compliance, let's say, of how adherent they are to the process?
Yeah, so you make a good point there that people, when they're coming to you for online coaching, that they already have some sort of investment already. The majority of the clients I've worked with now have been in the gym maybe 2-3 years, but they notice that they're maybe spinning their wheels, they're not seeing them results, or they're not losing as much weight as they thought they could do. Bit of a difference between that and someone that's never been in the gym and trying to get them there in the first place. It's way easier to get someone from a treadmill to the weight section of the gym than it is to try and get someone from their couch to the gym itself. And I think a lot of the online people are in that former stage where they are in the gym, but they maybe don't know what they're kind of doing, or they do have some form of experience, but it boils down to the accountability side of things, that they do let a couple of weeks slip. Or especially now when we're coming into September, a lot of people's routines are kind of taking shape again. Kids are back to school. The likes of Electric Picnic, music festivals are all kind of wrapping up. Your summer holidays are ending. And between now and pretty much Christmas, it's a smooth enough runway for people. But it's during those busier times is when people struggle the most. And that's why it is so valuable having an online coach in their back, in their supporting them, I suppose.
Yeah. It's on your phone, like on your phone. You know what I mean? It's very easy accessible.
Exactly.
Do you know one thing I've definitely found and it's the element of it I think is understated. And I think it's where, like I was mentioning earlier on about a lot of new trainers coming into business, sometimes think online coaching's easier. And this is how it isn't. It's the benefit to it, I think, it's not easier in the sense that you need to be a lot more dialed in, not just in your knowledge and experience of how to actually help a person with the practical element of training and nutrition, but also I think you have to be a much better people person. I think you learn that on the gym floor. Like, I don't know about you, right? But I remember when I started, like, I was definitely a lot more like cut and dry about what I thought about health and fitness, whereas actually working with a very large cohort of people has taught me to be a bit more pliable in my approach and kind of deal with the person that's in front of me, as opposed to trying to put the square peg in the circle hole and say, well, you kind of just have to do it this way. You can kind of find ways and means to work with the person. Now, obviously, there is a minimum expectation of change. If you're going to want a different result, you can't just keep doing what you've been doing. But I think you can be a lot more receptive to, if you've got a client who's 21, he's in college and works a part-time job, but has 12 hours a week he can train, it's very different to
big difference between that and Mary that has 3 kids and she has night shifts 4 days a week and she's doing a master's on the side. Completely big difference.
Why is it always the motherfuckers that are they've all this shit going on, a master's, that's what I need to do? I'm like, why now? Like, how can I fucking fuck my free time way more?
I could think of nothing worse right now than having to do a master's.
Do you know, actually, just with the education piece, let me ask you, how was your experience at Setanta? Don't worry, I can start if you want. If you want to make me to ease it into it.
It was, look, I needed to get some sort of degree. Unfortunately, that's the only way you can get qualified for the floor, I suppose. Mixed with reactions with it. First of all, of course, the infamous FMS is it's their holy Bible when it comes to trying to screen the general public on the gym floor. So they would expect you to perhaps do FMS for 6 weeks with a client. But even we had to do it, so like the single lunges over the little hurdle and shit
The
like
hurdle
that.
step, yeah.
Yeah, and it's doing is setting people up for failure.
Yeah.
And I just it had no transference to actual weight training or something like that. It was of no use. Why does Mary need to do an overhead dowel squat? Poor Mary.
Yeah, poor Mary. Mary's getting a battering today on this podcast.
I can't do an overhead squat with perfect technique holding a dowel like.
Do you know? Well, let me ask. Do you know I did some Setanta College?
Yeah,
I did a couple of modules there, and I just lost the head and had to leave. And it was strictly for that reason. I think I was in the middle of an assignment for like one of the resistance training modules, like 2 or 3 or whatever it was, and I think they were doing like squat and deadlift in it, and so much of it was so wrong. Not like this is a difference of opinion. You're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
That I look. Maybe it's a character flaw of mine that I couldn't put the emotion on the side and just stick to the practical. Maybe you're allowed.
I was the same. I had, there was a particular lecturer that came in one of the days when we were in Thurles itself, and I had a bit of an argument with him because he was going over the squat, and he had up on the projector screen, he was working with the English rugby team, and I was like, this is actually quite cool. And he was pulling up pictures of Farrell, and then there was a screenshot of Maro Itoje. And he had him back squatting with the barbell in the rack just behind his knees with a hip thrust pad wrapped around the barbell. So his knees would wrap around the bar so his hips would shift back. So it wouldn't allow for his knees to travel over his toes because that was considered a bad thing by Setanta. And I literally stopped him and I was like, why is that a bad thing? And all this hoopla, all this jargon, this, that, and the other. And I was like, no, but Olympic weightlifters, their knees travel way past their toes and their knees are completely fine. So that it's not that. Why do you have to minimize the range of motion here? And he didn't.
There's no good answer.
He didn't have first of all, he didn't have a good answer. But at the end of the lecture, he came up to me and we were chatting about it, and he was like, "Look, to be honest, this is just what we're told to study, and that's that.
This is exactly
that's the why.
Same,
That's the why." And that's not good enough.
No, and this was a similar encounter I had with one of the lecturers there when I was up there. So this. Look, there's probably some people listening to this have probably been through Setanta or potentially are there now, right? And this is kind of the case for anywhere you get a certification for almost anything. A lot of what the curriculum is based on is evidence that we know to be obsolete now, but the curriculums aren't caught up. Many of the lecturers know, but they frankly don't care. And I'd imagine I don't know which lecturer you had when you had that particular discussion, but a guaranteed lad has probably not seen a barbell in at least 15 years, right? Because that's the way most of them are. You know, they show up, this is a job for them. They go in, they talk, they present what's on the slides. And that's just what they talk through. I had a similar discussion about that. It was a case of, I can't remember what exactly we were doing. Maybe it was part of the FMS. And you know what it was? It was FMS and scoring. And they said if you score under this score, your likelihood of injuries increase. But if you also score a perfect 21 out of 21, you're hypermobile and your likelihood of injuries.
Yes, that was. Yeah, so that's my point being, like, it was setting people up for failure. There was no positive, you weren't getting any positive reinforcement from it. There was always something wrong.
Do you actually want to know funny? This just came back to me. At one stage for resistance room, we had to break into groups and make a program, right? And I was paired with these fucking, look, they're nice people, right? But I was trying to not be a dickhead and let them have their say. I was being quiet, like, you know. But their program was fucking terrible, and I had to be like, you wouldn't do this. And this one girl that does CrossFit was like arguing with me. And I was like, I don't want to pull rank on you, but I am already coaching very high level powerlifters, and this is a strength program. You're not going to win this argument. No. Like, I know already, it's not a matter of like your opinion versus mine. I know I'm fucking right, like, because I also keep up with the evidence as best as I can. But it was like, what am I doing here, man? What am I doing here? Because I got caught in that bubble for me, because I'd already been working. Like, I got caught in this bubble that, like, if I upskill and I go through and I try to do my masters, and I think I had gotten gaslit because Arthur Lynch had been on the Odyssey podcast talking about his PhD. But then he lost his fucking mind doing that, as far as I know. So, like, You know what? I was like, I think I got about 6 months into it and I was like, this is absolute bullshit. And
there's only so much you can take.
No, man, it was honestly so bad. And like you said, it does. It sets people up for failure. And this was my experience. And this was my argument. Somebody coming to the gym already has a relatively negative viewpoint of themselves. You know what I mean? Usually they're out of shape. They don't feel good day to day, moving around and doing things. And they probably recognize they need to make a change. Whether I say anything or not while I'm screening them, and that's kind of one of the cues, you don't correct while they screen, you just assess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, I get that. They know they're not doing it right. Because they know they're like touching off the thing they shouldn't be touching off, or they're not moving in such a way that they should be, you are kind of deemed they should be able to move. But this is kind of the argument I would always make. It's like, who am I to say what is functional for you versus a sprinter versus an Olympic weightlifter or a strongman? They're all completely different needs for the average person. And I also don't like this idea with all fitness and all training, and I'm putting this out there now and we can definitely talk about it. There's this lingering idea in the weight room of the fear of injury. I don't know if you know the statistics for resistance training, but I fucking do. Right?
It's one of the lowest in comparison to every other sport out there. But yet, parents out there are getting their kids into soccer or rugby. Soccer or hurling even, because my background would be heavily based with hurling. The amount of ACL injuries, the amount of hamstring injuries, and for rugby, you have a bit of a background there, do you?
Like very, like a little bit in secondary school, but not like in any competitive. Not like half the motherfuckers that have sat in that chair, like Beck and Ben, and Scott and all that have all like played it. Like,
but the amount of impacts for concussions, CTE is obviously a really prevalent thing now at the moment. Whereas you don't get any of that with weightlifting. It's at the very bottom of every other sport. But yet it's always deemed to be, you shouldn't be in the gym now, especially for the youth. Stunt their growth. That was a big thing when we were young. I remember, like, when we were fucking minor hurlers and we were hearing like Portlaoise GA, they're in the gym. Holy shit, they shouldn't be there, should they? Whereas now it does seem to have caught on a small bit, but everybody should be in the gym.
Look, so I'm sure people listening know from the accent, you're from a more rural part of Ireland. From coming up to Dublin, do you see a difference in culture of training?
Yeah, way more ease of access to the gyms, because that's where I was introduced to the gym, was Flyfoot and George Street. When I was in college.
What a place, man. That's the Wild West, man.
Oh, that was the mecca for me when I started off in college, because I literally had no access to gyms when I was back at home. Whereas now that's caught on big time. Like, I was training out with Rossgray Leisure Centre back at home, which had the shitty bumper plates that are still the very same ones that are there now, like 8 years later. But yeah, coming up to Dublin, being able to, oh my God, you can just scan a fob and you can go into the gym whenever you want. This is unreal. And being able to have that ease of access. There's so much more facilities up in the Big Smoke, as we would call it.
The Big Smoke.
The Big Smoke is right, yeah. But it definitely has caught on the last couple of years, which is great. Everybody now has access. And even powerlifting equipment, if you want to go into that side of things. I've never seen a rogue plate in my life until when we were down in the City Gym for the Irish PF and competing on competition bars. And I was like, and plates. I was like, oh my God, these are so cool. Even when I was back competing in the IDFPA, we were warming up on bumper plates and stuff. I actually qualified from that competition that I beat TJ, and I qualified for the World Championships, which was taking place in Calgary. So 6 weeks after that competition, I was a junior flying over to Calgary to compete and still warming up on bumper plates in the Winter Olympic Arena, which is quite cool. But yeah, still, the facilities have just the equipment, access to equipment. Like, people are coming into abs now and they're like, I don't want to be mixing the Titan plates with the
Eleiko.
with the Evancos or the Eleikos, and I'm like, you do not know the difference between what we were using just only 4 years ago compared to now.
Do you know, I had two conversations, one with Ian Benson from Urban Barbell and Adam Phillips from Odyssey Strength. And Adam has a similar story where he remembers warming up, I think in IDFPA, on like bumper plates and things like that, right? And James Hanley, actually, who I've had on our RevFit, he would have been like an OG powerlifter back in the day. Like, and there's a thing of, there's a name for it, but basically, as time goes on and the standards rise, new entrants to a given activity, in this case powerlifting, have a new minimum standard, right? So when I started like powerlifting training, I didn't know what the fucking difference was between the barbells. It was just a bar. There was a bar and there was plates. Like, I did most of my training in Ben Dunham Flyfit. You know what I mean? I only started using calibrated kit when I joined abs. And even at that, I still like kind of did 50-50. Like my first 280 pull was on like weightlifting gear and fly fit. You know what I mean? So this is the point. And it's one thing now you'll see a lot of the newer, like one of my young lads, he's really, really good now, but he was in Italy for a couple of weeks. He's like, oh man, the bars and plates are so bad. I can't train as hard as when I'm on the calibrated gear. I'm like, man, it doesn't fucking matter. Like,
No.
it doesn't matter at all. Like, I think, but like, not all, in one way, like, yeah, there's absolutely, I mean, back in my day, we fucking trained on rusty barbells with fucking bumper plates that were literally made of fucking horse shit. You know what I mean? But like, I also think it's a good representation of how forward things have come and how advanced they've gotten, that there is this readily available access to combo racks, competition plates, specialty bars. I think that's kind of cool. Because like there was a time probably in Dublin where Hercules Club is the only one. You know what I mean? And now like obviously there's Abs, there's RevFit, there's Chaos over in Kildare. There's Integrity Fitness down the road and Swords. You know what I mean? Like there's so many places to have it now. And I think that's only a net positive for getting more people into the sport. But you did speak then a little bit about, coming up to Dublin and the ease of access we have to fitness here. And obviously, like, look, let's be honest, Dublin's the capital of the country. It's the most progressive city here, for better and for worse, some good points and bad points. But it means that in terms of like access to facilities of almost all kinds is going to be much more available versus like, the fucking arsehole of nowhere, like Ballyjames arsehole down in
the lovely village of Errol back in Leash.
Yeah, Errol, like, you know what I mean? But the point is, what another question though I'd have for you is like, even down to like not just the access to facilities, but say if you think of dealing with like the people that would be involved in sport and training back home versus the people to be involved in sport and training up here, even if it's the same, if it's both field sports, would you see a little bit of a difference in their knowledge and understanding or their approach? Or like my assumption is that there's still very much an old school element down the country, because I know from speaking to other coaches when they've talked about trying to break in as an S&C coach in like football teams, GA teams, rugby teams down the country, it's like running into a brick wall of old men that know nothing about training.
I've heard it's a nightmare. I have not done any S&C with teams, but I do have a couple of friends, a couple of coaches from home that did, and similar to Sedanta, they were, after a couple of months, they were like, fuck this. It's just, dinosaurs are running a lot of the, especially GA, because that is a huge background for me, because that was my main sport growing up. So I do have good insight into that side of things. But yeah, trying to explain an RPE system to a GA team of 32 lads coming in and all they want to do is max out on the bench press every week. And you're like, right, lads, we need to pull things back. I don't want you pushing too hard. I want you to be able to recover enough between now and your match of the weekend. And, fuck that. Or trying to train lower body during the hurling season. What? Looking at the very best athletes in the world, or pulling it back to like the Irish rugby team. They're playing maybe South Africa on a Saturday. Monday, Tuesday morning, they're back in the gym. Yeah. Andrew Porter does be putting up videos of him.
He's an animal, man.
Absolute tank.
Man, I'd love him to do a powerlift to me. Him and Bundy Aki.
Oh, yeah.
Sign up for a meet, like.
But like, I remember, I think it was in the Six Nations and they played on the Sunday. I think they played France or something like that, maybe. Tuesday morning at like 6 a.m., Andrew Porter was in the gym squatting like 250 for a couple of reps. And I was thinking to myself, try and get someone from back home or from the GA to even consider doing something like that. Like, you're off your trolley. Yeah. Because at the end, if you're able to try and lift somewhat intense at the start of the week, pull things back, pull down the intensity, then by maybe Thursday, Friday, get another gym session in. Because at the end of the day, you're not there to build muscle. You're not there to build strength when you're in season. It's injury prevention more than anything.
Maintain the skill as well.
Exactly, because I've seen a lot, and I do have a good few GA clients at the moment that are hurling, and they're deep into their championship season at the moment. But that doesn't mean that they stop going to the gym. Yeah. Because would you rather be going to the gym twice a week and pulling back the intensity slightly and being able to perform as good as possible at the weekend, or would you rather injure yourself and be sitting on the sideline for 6 months? And that's why I always tell them it's injury prevention more so than anything else at this time. After the GA season or after the hurling season or after whatever season, rugby, then you can pick back up the intensity. That's when you're looking to build your muscle mass. You're trying to improve your strength, your speed, whatever that may be. I'm not trying to make you a better athlete per se. I'm trying to make you stronger, more injury resistant, and Yeah, that's
Mhm.
the main reason why you're in the gym.
Yeah, no, I would completely agree with that sentiment. Even down to two main benefits you can see is one is you don't want to come into when you're in your off season, you can push the gym. You don't want to be completely detrained to the skill base that you have established in your previous off season. You can't take like 3 months away from the gym completely. And the other one is like, obviously your body will detrain after a certain number of days of being away from any activity. And if you're only training then as field sport, which is quite high demand, going to the gym and doing a few, like, 70% of your 1RM squats is not that bad, but it's nice and static. The likelihood of injury is incredibly low, but you're moving, you're bearing load, you're loading up usually in and around the same muscles you're going to use on the pitch. So even in just terms of maintaining readiness, it's great. But do you know, just as an aside, do you know Andrew Porter's sister used to powerlift?
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
A friend of mine trained her back in 2018.
No way.
I'm telling you, back
What?
in the Irish PF. Yeah. There's like
Stop.
there was a documentary I think recently about Andrew Porter or the Irish rugby team.
Yes, on Netflix.
And she's in it, and they were in the gym together. Yeah, she did a bit of powerlifting. Lee Porter, her name is. You know what? I'm going to do this while we're on the podcast. I'm going to pull up her open powerlifting because a friend of mine
way. Holy
used
shit,
to
I didn't
yeah,
know that.
man, this is what I mean. I think what I would love. I'm saying it just as the thought occurs to me. If I was Jay Farrand, I'd approach Andrew Porter about doing like a couple of token lifts at a series for the absolute crack.
Slide into his DMs quick.
Straight up, man. Hang on, look. See if I find her here. Yeah, Leah Porter. There you go.
No way. Holy shit.
Yeah.
She's a good few competitions.
Yeah.
IDFPA, Irish PF, 2019. Sick.
Hasn't done it in a while. I think COVID wrote her off. But actually, if you go on her Instagram, she's got like her certs up.
Oh,
from
yeah?
a couple of the meets. I think she came like first, second, a couple of meets. Yeah. So there you go.
The more you know.
Lifted at IDFPA Nationals. Had some pretty decent numbers for back in the day as well. Good to see. But in any case, there you go. But speaking of competition then and things like that, we alluded to it a little bit earlier on in the chat. Like your next competition now is November.
Yes.
You're competing in Division 1. It's quite a stacked Division 1, man.
It is very stacked.
And that's like a change from the norm, I would say.
The last Division 1 competition I competed in, it was mainly just me and TJ. There was a couple of people coming in that no one really knew too much about them, I would say.
Yeah.
A couple of French lads were competing that day as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't have too much information on them. But this time around, yeah, like the whole flight is pretty much abs lifters going at it. The likes of me, TJ, Jimmy McLaughlin, Rod, who else is there? There's loads of people. Anyway,
Listen, man, I will just say this.
Vinny.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Because I got like 8 of them qualified for that division.
Yes.
Because most of them are my lifters. So there's Tristan Jacobs, there's Mark Hayes, there's Emmett Hart, Rodriguez Mibua, who I was absolutely lighting up in that group today. Luca, I can't pronounce Luca's last name. Luca's doing, is he pro? He's Div 1 still.
He's Div 1 still, yes.
Jacob Pratch, Evan Wallace, Vinny Chung, James McLaughlin. It's probably a handful of others, but even so, that's pretty damn stacked. Like
it is.
For a flight that normally has 4 to 6 people, to be in the realm of 10 to 12 is pretty nice. So I did this last year in the lead up to Division 2 for November, where I had Sam Barlow, Jacob Pratch, Eddie Molinaric, and James going against each other. So this is the same principle now. I start a group chat, we'll start throwing out a bit of smoke, and then I'll probably start promoting it a little closer to me for my own personal shits and gigs. This is honestly part of why I do it, because I think it doesn't really matter who wins. Having that rivalry is just fun for the lifters and it's fun for the audience, because thinking back to Ab Series 15 during that Division 2 battle, that's the loudest I've ever heard Division 2 reactions, particularly for those 4 lads. Like, people were a little quiet on Eddie because a lot of them didn't know him, but a lot of the crowd came to watch Jacob, they came to watch James, and came to watch Sam. But obviously Eddie ran away with the whole thing. So by the time we got to deadlifts, he was getting some pretty big reactions as well, because he was like coming in the lead. I loved that, man. That was one of my favorite flights of I had 9 lifters in that flight. The other 5 lads were just there to kind of like, tick the box, get the score, push the totals. But these 4 lads were vying for the podium. So it was pretty sick to see that I had lads in 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, I believe.
Yeah.
That was
and
nice.
It ties back to that divisions, that's the way forward for the sport. Because if there was no divisions there, if they were all just piled in with, let's say, the Division 1 lifters and just off weight classes or something like that, the crowd wouldn't be there.
No.
People wouldn't be half as invested. There would be no rivalries, really, because why does it matter? There's only 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in your weight class. That's not really going to be it's kind of more straightforward who's going to win those. Whereas when we break it down into those divisions, Division 2, like, they're probably relatively not as strong as Division 1 lifters, but they're all competing against each other. It's neck and neck who's going to come out on top, and there is a bit of rivalry there. There's a bit of shit stirring going on. And yeah, as you said, you have a group chat built, and yeah, you're stirring the pot already.
Absolutely, man.
Every week there has been at least one message. How did squats go this week, lads? How did deadlifts go?
Do you know why though, man? It's
loving it.
I want people coming in feeling a little bit of pressure to perform. And look, somebody like James did back in November. He crashed and burned, but it lit a fire under him then to push harder, and he almost made it at USAPL, and then he absolutely cleaned house at Cologne, Series 17.
Exactly.
And I will say for him, and I love slagging James, so you know that this is for real. I think James McLaughlin is going to have his best meet ever in November.
Still won't be enough.
Excellent. I love the attitude, man. That's what I want. That's what I want. Realistically speaking, right? If we know, I want to talk a bit more broad strokes about rivalries and like how we present sports and things like that, and what it means to you, like as somebody who enjoys sporting activities and watching them. For this competition, even though we're still like we're only in towards the end of August now as we record, does this feel like a little bit more important now because you know you've got a few people you're going to have to go against?
Big time, yeah. You can feel the pressure is on. There are days there, like, because as you said, we're maybe 14 weeks out. Some people will be kind of like, oh yeah, I'll have a couple of drinks at the weekend. It's not the end of the world. I've loads of time to kind of lock in, as they say. But I can see they're posting their stories. I can see that they're in when I should be in as well. But that's something about me. I am very competitive, and it's not a case that I'm not going to compete because I'm not going to be able to come first or whatever that may be. I will show up. And I have done all summer, every Sunday morning. I'm there, I'm training, I'm locked in, I'm ready to go for November. And I honestly think it's going to be my best performance as well. And with the nutrition guidance with Shane Story, I think that that's going to be really helpful, trying to build a bit more weight, come in a little bit heavier, come in a little bit stronger, hopefully. And to be honest, I think I'm going to win.
Do you think you'll do any kind of weight manipulation coming in for a better dot score?
Yeah, I will. A little bit of a manipulation, I suppose. I have done in previous competitions and it's been fairly smooth, so I don't see any reason why it would be any different this time around. I'll just come in maybe a little bit heavier, but if I need to be a bit heavier to deadlift 300 to win, I'll do that.
Well, here's a question, all right? So you're very confident in the win right now?
Yeah.
Not just talking shite because you're on a podcast?
Yeah, no, I'm confident.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. So let me ask you this. Do you think you can beat the lads if you're going to wear sleeves?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure people know and they're listening. At series, you can use 2.5 meter reps or you can use knee sleeves. You're opting for sleeves. Why not reps?
Because next year I will be going back to the Irish PF. That's my plan. This year I wanted to get an Irish PF competition in to try and qualify for nationals, but I had a bit of travel. I was in South America for a couple of weeks there, and it didn't give me much time to prep for a competition by the time I got back. I know there was a competition in Chaos there. I think that was in June.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have enough time to prep for that to earn a qualification. So that'll have to wait till next year. So my plan is compete in November, win the Division 1, and then move on to Irish PF early 2025. And
push for nationals.
Push for nationals next year, yeah, and go from there. But yeah, little things like swapping from a deadlift bar back to a stiff bar, that'll be interesting. But
man, I think... hot take, right?
Go on.
First 8 meets I did were on a deadlift bar. Well, no, a few of them were on a power bar, Abs Pro weekends. Majority of my early meets were on deadlift bar, right? Because I did Ab Series 1 through 7, then I did Ab Series 8, and then I started lifting Irish PF, right? I don't think there's that big of a difference.
Good. Because I have been on the deadlift bar maybe a year now because I was prepping for last November, last April. So it's pushing more than a year now that I've been strictly competition-wise training on a deadlift bar. And I have heard from people, there's a huge difference. You can pull 30 kg more.
Not bollocks. Maybe.
Yeah, that's bollocks. I think that's bollocks. So by going back to the stiff bar after this competition, I should be just fine.
I think that, look, there is obviously a difference. I think the difference might be a bit more tangible for you as a sumo puller because you might have to adjust your stance slightly because I know Jacob likes to stand really wide because you've got that extra distance on the deadlift bar. But if you give yourself the time to try and back into position, you'll be fine. Strong is strong, right? That's my opinion. Yep. I don't think if you need to fucking have a very specific specialty bar to hit a certain number, I would question how strong you are. You know what I mean? If you lift it, this is why I say when we're talking about before we start recording the Abs Pro, and we had a couple of lifters bomb out, my sympathies are very limited. If you need to lift at a certain meet under certain conditions, under a certain rule book to be considered strong, how fucking strong are you? Realistically. You know what I mean? So I would say you'll be sound. I'd say, look, right, I mean, are you planning to go back into the 83 kilo weight class?
I don't know.
Don't do that, man.
I don't know, because as I said, I always identified as an 83. Maybe
That's victim weight, man.
It is. And because I am quite tall for the weight class, I suppose, in comparison to other 83 competitive 83
like, you're taller than me,
lifters.
and I'm a 93.
That's true.
You know? Do something about it, man. Come
Yeah.
on, what are you afraid of? Like,
Big long legs on me.
nah, but like, I mean, look, initially I do understand it can be hard. Like, because look, you could be like relatively competitive as an 83, right? But here's the problem with that. You'll always be middle of the pack because you're always putting a cap on how strong you can realistically get at that body weight. Whereas I think Eamon said this on this podcast before, and I don't agree with Eamon on everything. We've had a few debates on this podcast. Now, I love the guy as a person, but we don't agree on everything, right? But one thing I do agree with him on, it's definitely something I think is worth noting, and something that I'm definitely going to try myself, is that, like, let's say I want to total 800 kilos. He was like, do it up around, and I'm never going to do it at 110, but he's like, do it at 110, then do it at 100, then do it at 93.
Yeah, I remember him on the podcast saying that, and that really clicked with me. And that was one of the actual main decisions for me to be like, right, let's fully fucking commit to this now. Let's put on some weight. Let's, as you said, maybe get that 300 kg deadlift, maybe get a 650 plus total, and then next year come around, do a lighter body weight. Strip back the fat slightly if I do put on a bit too much.
Can I ask you a question?
Go on.
Do you think from, like, I don't know if it's necessarily due to your background, right? Or like just the kind of world you're in working with the Better Man projects and all. Do you think you have a little bit of pressure on yourself to look a certain way all the time?
Sometimes people can see that, especially if you're an online coach and they're looking at you, and if maybe you're not shredded six pack and they're thinking, oh, maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about. But no, I'm more so the side of, if you want to perform your best, if you want to look your best, you're not going to be shredded year round.
No.
And the majority of those photos that people see online of certain coaches that are shredded, they were all taken on a specific day, at a specific lighting, tan probably on, baby oil on as well. I've been at the photo shoots myself, and they take 100 pictures that day, and they can just evenly disperse them out through the year and say, you need to work harder on that, which is not the case.
It's something I kind of want to touch off. Like, I mean, like, I've had Ben Crockwell on here before, like, and I've a lot of time for Ben. But like, I mean, so I see a lot of Ben's content online. I'd say I would agree with about 90% of it. But some of it takes, I'm like, I do think he sometimes forgets, and I do think sometimes we all forget, when you're looking at some of these coaches, man, you can be shredded year round when you're fucking anabolic all the time. When you're on foot, look, I'm not being a cunt, right? But when you're on gear, it's not the same ballgame. If you're a natural, like you, like Mark Hayes is natural, right?
I am natural.
So in case you couldn't tell, but like, I know, look, the pedo mustache is kind of a game changer. You look like you're getting ready to step on a bodybuilding stage, but still, right? I think when you're natural, there are those seasons where, look, you're going to have to go through a season of gaining, probably to the point of getting a little bit fluffy. And then when you cut, you're going to get to the point where, you know, you're probably going to see a knock-on effect of performance. Whereas, like, I don't know if you're like fully aware of some of the effects of, like, I don't feel like I know a lot about PEDs, but then I talk to some other coaches and trying to, man, some people in powerlifting, particularly those in tested powerlifting, know so little about PEDs. It's actually terrifying because I don't think they really know what performance enhancers are or what they do and what they mean. I think they just think everything's a fucking steroid, and all steroids do is make you big and strong. And it's scary to think that these are the people that are like, you know, we need to see powerlifting in the Olympics. But anyway, but I also think the other side of that is, so like Ben, for example, Ben's been on like for more than 10 years. You know what I mean? And like, I think sometimes it can be difficult to remember that the average person is probably not going to have a visible six-pack year round if they want to make any tangible results in the gym. I'm sorry, but motherfuckers are not building a significant amount of muscle and calorie deficit. It's not happening.
No.
So there's going to be those seasons where like you're going to have to embrace being a little bit fluffier. But I think it's a bell curve.
Yeah, I remember Lane Norton had a great post up about it, and it's basically about that, where he spent maybe 6-8 months in a calorie surplus and he looked fluffy, and he was actually getting negative comments on some of his posts. People were like, look at this fat fuck, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's a long-term investment, and that's kind of what I'm going through myself at the moment. Like, I can see a bit more love handles kicking in and I'm getting a little bit softer. But I know it's a long-term investment to build that muscle mass because you can't be shredded year-round. And there are seasons like around Christmas time, around summer. As I said, coming into September now, the routine's kind of kicking back in. But up until this point, there's so much more going on in terms of your social calendar. That's something that I constantly harp on to my clients about, that, look, we're in a very busy period at the moment. It's probably not the best time for you focusing on purely fat loss. Maybe consider looking into your gym effort a little bit more, trying to build strength. And then when your routine does settle back down, whereas we're coming into the easier side of things after a hectic summer, now we can ramp things back up again in terms of fat loss and work through that sort of phase. But it's not just a thing where we're going to lose fat now, whether you like it or not. And you have to be 100% disciplined because that is not how life works. And that's why I'm trying to harp on with clients. If you have a holiday, that's fine. Let's try and put in some sort of protocol where you don't take a backward step. Because without the coaching, maybe they do come back from the holiday half a stone heavier. Whereas now they can go enjoy themselves, come back, and they're pretty much the same weight. That's a huge win. Whereas they wouldn't have had that otherwise.
It's an interesting talking point because I think what tends to happen with people is they tend to be really all or nothing. So what I mean is like if somebody's like, right, I'm fucking cutting and I'm not going to go out anywhere and I'm not going to see anyone. I'm going to eat chicken and fucking boiled chicken, boiled rice and fucking broccoli every fucking day for the next however long it takes. And then they get 3 weeks in and like, fuck this shit. And then the other side of it is like, no, I'm committed to the bulk. And then they're like an unsupervised child in a sweet shop, just eating everything they can get their hands on. And I think this is kind of one of the disparities in understanding, right? And I see this a lot, even with lifters that are trained that I would consider relatively advanced. What they think something means and what it actually means are two different things. So I'll give you an example. When we talk about bulking, right? The same habits matter. You're still going to sleep. You're still going to track. You're still going to get your steps. You're just going to eat slightly more calories. And when we see, and we'll just still weigh in and see a relative gain over time, and we'll see improved performance in the gym. If we're seeing these things, we don't change anything, right? Great. Like I've got one kid that I train him, like he's like a very good responder to training. Doesn't eat very much. I'm not talking about Evan Wallace. It's a different guy, right? But he's getting tick. He's like, my weight's not going up on the scales. I'm like, no, man, this is great because you're eating like 4,000 calories a day. You're getting stronger. You've more energy. You're looking better, but you're also not getting significantly heavier. Like you're still lean. You look fuller. Your weight's gone up marginally. This is that's fucking like the dream. You know what I mean?
Like a match made in heaven.
Man,
everyone would love that.
The lad is like 6'2". He's like 91 kilos. He is like a fucking 2-to-1 waist to hip, shoulder to hip waist ratio. Benches 150, squats 240.
Fucker.
Pulled his last comp. He pulled 260. We tried 275 and he missed. He got 262. But I'd say he's good for 270. You know what I mean? So he's like 20.
Who are you talking about?
Aaron O'Day is his name.
Oh yes.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
That's so impressive.
Yeah,
but yeah, the longer you can keep that going, that's fucking brilliant.
But
everyone would love that.
But it's bizarre because this whole thing is like, I really want to be. I don't want to compete again until I'm in the 105s, right? And I'm like, cool, yeah, but like, I mean, like, what a great problem to have. Like,
oh yeah,
if
we were all able to do that, we'd be
bastard.
happy out.
Yeah, so he's able to eat rings around himself, and the weight gain is marginal. So that's like an exceptional athlete. You know, it's somebody who'll be exceptional if we can get them to where we need to be. But I think the other part of it is people work. So, like, for example, I've got some lifters making weight now for September Open next week, and they're not understanding that this close to the meet, acute drops in calories aren't really going to do a lot, right? So like, it doesn't matter if I cut your calories in half. Your weight's still only going to trickle down. What we can do is you can manipulate what's in your gut lining, the composition of your foods, the density of your food, and the volume of your food. You can still eat the calories, but you know, if most of it's liquid and not fucking, like, I don't think they understand, like, 400 calories of potato is significantly more food than 400 calories of peanut butter. Now, they're two completely different macros, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, that's like a tablespoon and this is a fucking plate of food. And that's the point. When people think about weighing in, they think always of, oh, calorie deficit is in cut down. I'm like, no. It's a completely different ballgame. If I'm trying to make you leaner, if I'm trying to make you look different, I'll put you in a deficit. If I'm just trying to make you weigh less, I don't necessarily need to do that. You've probably encountered this yourself then with online coaching where people are getting like tick. It's like the weight in the scale's not gone down. You're like, man, you've lost like 4 inches off your waist.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. Like, everything's going well. The physical change is what we want. The weight is, I think, kind of weighing in is like secondary to that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's why I constantly harp on to clients as well that there's more than one metric of progress we're tracking here. And that's why online coaching is so valuable, because people would only typically use one metric of progress, and that would be the scales. But that's not taking into consideration how you're looking, as you said, how you're feeling, if you're energetic in the gym, if your personal life, if you're feeling much better in yourself, in your mood. Body measurements is always a really good one too. Combination of all those, you're going to have a much more accurate idea as to whether you're progressing or not, rather than just looking at the number on the scale. Because if you had your last meal the night before a little bit later than usual, you had maybe a bit more salt on it, or maybe you went to the sauna. I'm loving the sauna these days. If you went to that, that's going to affect your weight the next morning. If you had a bad night's sleep, people don't realize all these little things add up, and that could be a reason why the scales is not budging or something like that. But
what are you using the sauna for?
For the head.
Just going and sitting in a hot room, like.
Love it. I am loving the sauna. I've been going at least once or twice a week now for the last couple of months. I don't know what it is. It's very relaxing. I've been going after training sometimes, and I don't know.
Do you feel more recovered?
Yeah, I think I do. Because what I find is if I go, let's say if I'm training Thursday evening up in abs, then hit the sauna afterwards, I'm relaxed. I'm just chilling out a little bit more. It will help improve my sleep, because I have seen a couple of studies that it doesn't help, let's say, with your muscle soreness or but the indirect benefits is it puts you in that more chilled state. So it's probably improving.
The reason I asked that, there is a motivation. I'm trying to get somewhere with this, right? Because I would see like recovery rooms and all that sort of shit, like, right? I was like really anti that shit. I was like, that is fucking dumb. It's a money-making scam. Same with cupping, same with dry needling. It's all a fucking scam, because it's not you can't physiologically change muscle tissue this way. You can't, if we were that pliable, when you put a fucking 100 kilo barbell on your back, it'd be sinking through you basically if you're that pliable, right? But I could potentially see the benefit for stimulating parasympathetic nervous system and the ability to relax.
Yes.
So
Time.
So that's why I ask, like, even if your sense of like that, if you are way more relaxed and that's leading to a way more fulfilling night's sleep, I would wonder if the benefit is not necessarily that the sauna is helping you recover, but it's facilitating better recovery by improving sleep.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I kind of am feeling at the moment. And a couple of the lads in the gym as well are doing the same thing. Like saunas are popping up everywhere at the moment. And not just the sauna, as you said, dry needling, cup and all that shit as well. I wouldn't be as much into that crap, but if you can transition from your sympathetic to your parasympathetic state after training, especially in the evening time, if you had maybe some caffeine beforehand as well, your heart is going to be through the roof. That's probably leading you to a worse night's sleep. But if you were going to the sauna after the gym, just having 15 minutes of silence is lovely. Off the phone, no distractions, no dopamine hits or nothing like that. All little things like that can add up, I find. Coming out of the sauna, your body temperature is warmer as well, which will indirectly help with your sleep. And another thing as well is if a placebo works, it works.
It's still working,
because as I said, I don't do dry needling or coupling or anything like that, but I know some people love their massage gun or something like that. I have clients like that as well, and they're like, is it okay if I use a massage gun to help recovery? And I'm like, it's probably doing fuck all for you, but if you enjoy if you enjoy it, work away. And if you feel that you're getting a benefit from it, that's fine. But I'm not going to waste 150 quid on a massage gun.
You can get them for 40 quid on Amazon.
Or
I remember
40 quid on Amazon.
2017, 2018, there was one called the Terra Gun, and it was 600 quid. 600 quid. And I remember like a year later, there was one on Amazon for 40 quid. During COVID, I think. Oh my God. And I bought one. Like, I was like, let me just...
600 or 40?
Not 40, you crazy bastard. 600 quid for a fucking glorified sex toy. Are you crazy?
Put it down as a business expense.
Absolutely not.
Do a review on it.
No, absolutely not. Look, and like you pretty much hit the nail on the head there. If somebody is yielding a benefit from it, whether directly or indirectly, who are we to argue with it, you know?
Exactly.
I think it's also like with the sauna, have you noticed any difference to like things like body weight or dehydration or anything like that?
So what I am starting to do now is I just make myself up a little electrolyte drink for right after the sauna, because I went to, there's a new sauna village in Inchicore.
Right.
I went there with Dav recently because one of his athletes was cutting weight for the Abs Pro.
Very romantic.
Yes, it was. I'm just gazing into her eyes together for 15 minutes. But so right after that, I remember, because there was cold plunge pools there as well. I've never done it before, so I hopped in. It was fucking freezing, mixing between the hot and cold states. I had the worst headache after it because I had nothing with me. I just had a bit of water, and I realized, right, I'm completely depleted here now. I'm getting hazy headaches, so I need to start rehydrating after it. So now I'm making up electrolyte drinks, orange juice, salt, shit like that. The electrolyte sachets, shit like that.
Yeah.
And I do find a lot more benefits there just to rehydrate because, yeah, as you say, you're doing a lot of sweating.
Mm-hmm.
But I do find it's a good trade-off. I'm enjoying them. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm recovering more. If it means I'm able to lift a little heavier in the gym,
Yeah, for sure.
I'll do it.
Like that. Like that's why I'm always interested in these, because like for me, I think the best recovery is like just a good night's sleep.
A good night's sleep, yeah. If you're getting 5 hours of sleep and you're buying a €600 Theragun, as you say, and you're going to saunas, dry cup and all that, you're wasting your money. Get at least 7 hours sleep a night. Drink more water. Try just chilling out on your rest days. A lot of people think that they need to do all these like active recovery things, which it does have its place as well, like getting out for a bit of walk on your rest day maybe, just to increase your blood flow. Just chill out.
Do you know, actually with that, I used to be like when I was younger, I used to play video games, right?
I still do.
Yeah, I'm getting there, right? So, like very recently, particularly during like COVID and all that, I became like quite anti video games. Not like that video games in and of themselves were a problem, but there's so many people who complain about facets of their life that are so busy leveling up a character in a game rather than like doing anything to level up themselves, for lack of a better term. But like I've got a couple of lifters right now who are like, man, like it's fucking 9 o'clock. I've done everything for the day. I've eaten my calories. I've gotten my steps. This is how I relax. And we've actually like, so in talking about stimulating parasympathetic nervous system, a lot of them track on like things like these watches. And there's things like body battery or like day strain on the Whoop and things like that. And I don't really follow those things, but there is a direct correlation to when they take the time to chill and just play a game or watch a movie, they're coming in more recovered. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe I should just let them fucking play a bit of Warzone.
Yeah, I'm similar. Like when I go home at the weekends or something, I could, as you said, 9 o'clock, have my calories got, all my water drank. I am trained, have my work done, put the feet up, play Red Dead Redemption. Yeah. You know, and it's
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes, yeah,
Arthur Morgan.
Yes,
obviously.
Course. Yeah, obviously.
Boy.
Yeah. Tahiti.
So, Tahiti. Yeah, fucking hell, man.
But yeah, I love just being able to zone out off the phone, relax, do something like that. And I do find those things are quite helpful.
Yeah, because, do you know what? I'll hold my hands up because I think this is probably where I was going wrong. I was so like driven to do more with, let's say, like podcasting, coaching, like whatever. I would be like, right, grand, I have an hour free. I'll open the laptop and do something else. You know what I mean? I'm like, maybe I am part of the problem if I can never switch off.
And that's the problem with online coaching. That's something that I have learned over the last year is to try and pull back on things like that.
It's impossible, isn't it?
I'm literally thinking about 24/7. If I am playing, let's say, Red Dead on a Friday night and it's 9:30 at night, I'm like, I could be writing an email that I could send out to my newsletter now in the morning.
Yeah.
Why aren't I doing that?
I get your newsletters.
Good. I hope you're enjoying reading them. Little life updates
when
and stuff.
Man. One of them you were saying thank you to me or something, and I didn't read it yet though.
Yeah, saw TJ screenshot it. He thought I was talking to him, but no.
Specifically.
Now I am after him giving me some supplements.
Yeah, a few supplements.
Yeah.
But like, I think that is, do you know, can I ask you a question then, just from somebody who coaches online to another? Do you sometimes think that your like athletes or clients sometimes forget that you don't work 24/7?
How so? As in,
so I'll get, like, I've had people messaging me at 11:30 at night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. Like I do, especially when I'm onboarding clients, I'll let them know, look, please respect evening hours or weekends because I'm human. We're human too. We deserve a break, I suppose, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, like literally last night I was going to bed and I heard the phone buzzing, I think it was like at 22:11 from a client. And they wanted an exercise change for today's session. Yeah. And it's very easy for me to look at it and be like, no, I'll reply to that.
It's on your head, on your mind though. Yeah.
It's on my mind all night then. And I'm thinking maybe I should just get back to him because he's probably think I'm slacking then. Or maybe I should go out of my way to go above and beyond for clients. So it's kind of playing that fine line and it does get to you at times, but I have learned to make a bit more of a balance on that, I suppose.
Do you find you have to be boundaried with people sometimes?
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
So I find clients that I've had working with for, let's say, 6+ months, they know the sus. They know if they text me, let's say, late enough, usually they don't text me late enough. Maybe
Mm.
they know I'll get back to them in the morning. Whereas if it's a client that is relatively new to the gym and only with me maybe 2 weeks and is trying to get used to how do I check in or something like that, yeah, I'll go on my way to help them because they need a lot more help, a lot more attention at the beginning of their journey, let's say. As cringy as that sounds, journey.
No, I get it.
Well, yeah. So it's a kind of a fine line.
Mm.
But that's the joys of coach. That's the art side of coaching, I suppose, because there are people that are brilliant at writing amazing programs. But then there's them people. People.
I do think the interpersonal element is like this. I don't know if I said it when we were talking on the fucking podcast or out beforehand. I think the interpersonal element is in some cases more important because, frankly, exercise is exercise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think you would have to be exceptionally bad at writing a program to write a bad program. I think if somebody is just able to show up to the gym and do training, that's already like 90% of the battle. But how well equipped they feel to combat that or action that speaks volume, or their ability to to communicate with you and trust you, I think is a better indication of your quality as a coach. Personally, do you have a work phone or do you just have one phone?
No, just have one phone.
Oh man,
I know.
Work phone, man.
Yeah, I know. I should have 2 phones, but that's the thing. Like, if I get a text at 8 o'clock, I'm that kind of person that will respond back to the client.
It's just the option, though.
And having the option, yeah. Or
like,
just say it to people, oh, sorry, I didn't have my work phone on.
Like, I don't, like, that's my personal phone. I don't have my work phone with me here.
Right.
Because we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Man, like, you know Shauna?
Mm-hmm.
Shauna and I have been working together since 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's a in-person personal trainer.
Yeah.
And we both work together in FlyFit. And for years, I was like, you need to get a personal phone. Especially for Shauna, 'cause she's fucking head case. Like, you know what I mean? She don't mind me saying it. She's nuts. I was like, because you're so susceptible to like stress, just get a work phone.
Mm.
For years, she didn't listen. I think after COVID, she got one and was like, thank you so much. That was like the biggest tangible change I could make.
Well, if I take anything from today's podcast, it'll be get a work phone.
Man, honestly, like, look, right, let's be honest. What's your, roughly, like, is your clientele in the 20s, the 30s, 40s?
Yeah, late 20s, early 30s.
So that's a lot of people.
Mm.
Imagine that suddenly doubles.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of motherfuckers texting you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not in a case that, like, you don't want to be in a position to communicate. But I know, like, say when I go home after this, if I pick up my work phone and I have, like, 30 WhatsApp messages, I can get back to everyone then and there. I can be on them for the next hour. I can, I'm engaging with them. Whereas if I'm like, it's kind of one of the things I love about abs. We can't be on this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
That.
It pulls you out of a session, like, or pulls you out of what you're doing. And like you mentioned, if you do have that text from a client at 11:30, you're like, bastard. You know what I mean? Now I have to fucking get up and swap your RDLs for fucking dumbbell RDLs or whatever.
And there was actually a study put out, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I don't know.
I saw Eamon and all sharing it.
Yeah, about the phones. So
scroll on Instagram.
Yeah. What do you expect? Like, if you're trying to lift as heavy as possible and you're scrolling TikTok and you're
it's
falling
totally
into thirst traps and stuff, doom scrolling, and then you're like, oh, right, I have to gear up now and hit a PR on my bench press. It's not going to happen.
Do you know a bizarre thing about screen time? This is like just observation, right? So like, I've a little baby, right? He's 3 months old, right? He could be crying and all that, like if he's getting burped when he's fucking feeding. But if he sees the TV, he like goes into like, he's like, what's the word? Like hypnotized. Like,
yeah.
Just like, same if he sees your phone, he's just locked on it. Like, I'm like, God damn, man, this shit's addictive.
Sure it is. But sure, I fall into it many a time because, and you're probably the same, because if you are on the screen, if you're either on the laptop or on your phone all day, shit just it catches up on you. Like, then in the evening time, how do you chill out? You're on the phone or you're watching Netflix or something like that. And I could catch myself 15 minutes going through reels, haha, funny, haha. I can't remember the third last reel I watched.
Do you know, actually, I saw, what was it? There was a thing recently and it was saying on an average week, somebody could watch 25,000 shorts, like TikToks, YouTube, Instagram, 25,000. I will actually, I'm just going to give myself a pass here as an exception because I didn't have my first smartphone until I was 26.
26?
Yeah. I had like a Nokia 3310.
Nice.
And my sister
Classic.
gave me a Sony Xperia J. That was my first smartphone.
I
actually only really got, like, I got more into the value of a phone when I started coaching because I was like, well, I guess I need to have this shit now. I didn't have an Instagram until I started coaching. I had like a bullshit one that I still have that I never posted on. It's called Ian Likes to Lift. Don't follow it because I won't.
Ian Likes to Lift. Is that with a number 2 or?
No, but I won't. It's private. You won't get on it. Like it's where I go to put my shit posts up. I think
Nice.
Dan actually might be on it. I can't remember, but it's like just posting pictures of me and my mates. There's oftentimes people will say like, I never see, like, I didn't know you had a kid. You didn't post about it on the internet. I'm like, yeah, man, I have 3,500 followers. Why the fuck would I want you dickhead seeing what my kid looks like? You know what I mean? No offense. Like if you see him at a meet, I'm like, yeah, this is my fucking baby. But like, I'm not turning my baby into, I'm a personal trainer. I'm a coach. Look at my child.
Yeah,
you know
so
what I mean?
that's something I've noticed on your page is that you keep things very separate.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like it's not necessarily that I'm an extremely private person, but I definitely, because obviously I put myself out there. I'm here talking to you right now.
Yeah. But you like to set boundaries.
Yeah, like I've had it before where even like in the gym sometimes people will be like start recording something, or it's me doing something, they record it. And I'll be like, don't fucking post that on the internet without asking me first.
Yeah.
I'd be very fucking specific about it. And look, I don't care if people find that to be a bit, whoa, calm down. It's like,
Bit too abrasive.
listen, man, look, I'm a fucking millennial. I was born in 1988, bro. Right? So like, I grew up in analog, not digital.
Yeah.
So you motherfuckers might all think it's normal to have your whole fucking life on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I don't.
Yeah.
You know,
That's fair.
Like we talked about it before. I use this shit for marketing. You know what I mean? Like I like the ability to interact with people on the internet. I'm quite transparent with what I think. I've no like hot takes that I'm not willing to share. You know what I mean? But like we talked about, like, you know, people and screen time. You know what the best thing is I have on my phone?
Go on.
Audible. Audiobooks.
So I just use my Spotify. Spotify has an
same.
audiobook shit.
Yeah.
Same. I enjoy that too.
That's, man, a podcast or a good audiobook, I'll fucking go get 12,000 steps, no problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Or I'll listen to like a YouTube video essay. That's my jam, man. That's what I'm all about. Like I'm not like, I won't say I never watch shorts or reels, or I do when I'm taking a shit.
Yeah.
That's
but
like,
the majority of people are.
Yeah.
You
but
know?
like I kind of have like a system, you know what I mean? It's like, right, the short, snappy videos when I'm taking a dump, and then like the long form, interesting things on topics. Like, and this is another thing as well. Became a dad. Suddenly the Titanic wreck and World War II are all really interesting. I need to know everything about them.
Yeah,
it's bizarre. But we talked a little bit about before with the to be a successful online coach, it kind of does become more than just your ability to coach people and how you make your presence known on the internet. So this is like, I think we both come to the same conclusion, but we probably get there different ways.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's an element of, there's so many coaches that are so concerned with how they come across on the internet and how many cool videos they make, and their programming could be absolutely fucking trash, right? Whereas you made a very good point to me. It's like, well, look, what if you're online, you kind of have no choice. You have to put yourself out there. Like, did you have a time where you had to come to that conclusion where you're like, shit, I actually need to post on Instagram almost every other day?
Yeah, so about this time last year, really, because it was something that I did start taking up when I moved fully online. I was kind of posting, maybe I set myself a target of like try to get 3 posts out a week, because that was more than what I was currently doing. And it was going well for some time, and then I was like, I'm not getting too much traction with this, and I said, screw it, and I left it to the side. And then I came around full circle, and I was like, look, if you are an online coach, you need to be present, because people need 3 things from, they need to know, they need to like, and they need to trust you.
Yeah.
And if you're not present, how are they going to know about you? If they can't see any social proof that you're posting, how are they going to trust you? So little things like that do catch up over time, I find. So if me and you, let's say, are equally, we have the same qualifications, we're both great coaches, which we are. If I'm posting once a week and you're posting 7 days, you're posting 10 times a week, and they're on their phone, they're looking at Ian, oh my God, he's posting really good shit. Mark's only posting once a week. I'm forgotten about. They're going to go to you.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, as you said, a lot of people you do see is they're more so interested in their content looking spick and span, but their actual coaching is shit. We're competing with those people, and we're doing the potential clients a disservice if they're being attracted to those nice shiny coaches, but their actual coaching program is shit, that they fall into that trap and they're out of pocket, and their distrust for online coaches is getting even greater.
So it's a net negative.
Exactly. So it's our duty to be present online, to show them that there is a good side of coaching, that there is value in it, and that you will get the benefits that you're looking for. But it is our job now as online coaches to promote that and to be present.
I do agree, but let me play devil's advocate.
Go on.
Could you say that there's a case to be made that the type of clientele that go in for real flashy, quick, choppy, cutty reels and shorts are probably not the type of people that are willing to invest long term in online coaching? Because let's be honest, any tangible result probably takes a minimum of 6 months to really achieve. So if you can be sold on somebody because they made a load of reels where they had like their like snappy little cuts and their fucking captions at the bottom, and, you know, drop me a follow, you know, click the link below. Like, if you're somebody that goes in for that, I would debate that maybe you're not the clientele that somebody who's actually results orientated or is going to bring you through a much longer form, sustainable journey, as you mentioned earlier on.
Yeah.
You're probably not necessarily that person.
Yeah, well, I want to try and help as much people as possible, but I can't save everyone.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to naturally fall into that. Their personality is more suitable to that side of things. Or maybe they've tried, let's say, crash diets in the past or stuff like that. It's just what they're kind of more used to. The social kind of things that I post every week, I want to show people that it's all the results that I'm posting every week, that these take weeks, they take months, longer than what you think they take. And I'm showing that. I'm not putting up shit like, oh, he only got this result in 3 weeks and you could do the very same thing too if you followed the exact same cookie cutter program. I'm showing people the realistic results that people get over time, that it does take a long time, and my job is to show that to people and advertise that to people, that they are long-term investments.
Yeah.
Like, I don't sign people up on, let's say, a 12-week commitment period or anything like that, because they think probably subconsciously going into it that, oh, I'm going to get this result in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And if by week 8, week 9, they're starting to come around to terms and be like, oh, wait, this is actually going to take way longer than I thought, they kind of dip out. Whereas I'm like, look, let's sign up for coaching. Let's just take it on a weekly basis. And over time, we're going to realize how long this shit does take. We're going to take into account you have a holiday in 9 weeks' time. We're going to plan that in. You have a meal out next week. Let's have a look at the menu together. Let's see if there's higher protein options. And they're slowly coming to terms, and they're realizing that, yeah, actually, this is way more enjoyable. I'm actually getting results here long term. Whereas if I'm just putting up 6-week summer shreds every 5 weeks, or I have 5 coaching spaces available, if the 6th client is coming to you on this social media, you're not going to turn them down. Oh, I have 5 coaches. I have 5 spaces available. Of course I do.
Let me ask you a question, actually, because this is one facet of it I think that is going to like probably skew our viewpoints, right? Because I think the clientele you're working with are going to be different to the clientele I work with. My spearhead is powerlifting. Like, if somebody comes to me and they're like, I just want to go to the gym and get fitter, I'm probably still going to train them. I still do a very small amount of one-on-ones as well. I know you're completely online at the moment. I will ask you about that in a moment. But last point I want to make here on some of the online marketing stuff is I'd say you exist more in the, not that you're in that sphere, but more in the sphere of that summer shreds, photo shoot prep, right? I'm not saying you're doing that specifically.
More body composition, aesthetic kind of.
Like, let's be honest, your biggest seller is going to be having a before and after picture.
Yep.
Now, fair enough, you're given a realistic time frame on it, but like I see same with the Better Man project stuff, a lot of it's just like jack dudes that are shredded, like, do you know what I mean? And realistically, the people that are going to buy into that aren't really interested in the process. Like, I want to look like that guy. He looks great. He's a big chest and he's 6-pack abs and it's a narrow waist and he looks real happy and he's lovely white teeth. How do I look like that? Right? How you get them in is different to how you actually get them into the process, and then they can understand it's a long-term thing, and that's working with a good coach will help with that. But what's your thoughts on things like I think photo shoot preps, now you see like the average person just goes and gets lean, gets a spray tan, does a photo shoot, is like bodybuilding light. You know what I mean? Because they're not stepping on a stage. They're just going to a studio. I've had Stephen Tierney on here before who's done it. You just listened to that one.
Yeah,
I know you've listened. Thank you. I know you've listened to the podcast.
I listened to all of them.
Oh, thank you very much.
Big fan.
So what are your thoughts on that style of not just coaching, but like selling that as a product?
Yeah, well, first of all, bodybuilding seems to be demonized these days. The whole idea behind bodybuilding is for your body to look better or to get bigger muscles. There's nothing wrong with that. But then the side of bodybuilding that people are looking towards is that people are creating these really bad relationships with food, with their body image and stuff like that. That's not necessarily going to be the case for everybody. Like, I have absolutely no problem with photo shoots or anything like that. I think for the right person, they are fantastic goals to have. for someone to overcome adversity, to have a schedule for maybe 16, 20 weeks of discipline and a proper goal at the end of it. Because a lot of these people probably don't come from competitive backgrounds or athletic backgrounds, and they've never done that before. I know you have a lot of clients come to you and it's their very first time to compete in anything when they're competing in powerlifting. And it's the same thing for the likes of a photo shoot or for something like that, or for a before and after.
Yeah.
Like trying to get a six pack is a fantastic goal for a lot of people, that it shows that they can achieve something that was probably out of their realm of imagination a couple of years ago. So that's absolutely no problem. But the issue then is when everybody can see that online, and everybody that's, let's say, jumping onto the shiny object syndrome sort of thing, and they're the ones that are coming in, but they're only used to maybe slimmer world backgrounds or crash diets, juice cleanses, shit like that. Probably not the best goal for you to have.
Yeah,
trying to lose as much weight in 6 weeks, or trying to get six pack shredded for a photo shoot. They're the kind of clients where you need to say no to.
So whose responsibility is it though? Like if say for example, like, so let me put it this way: you're probably aware of people that have done photo shoot preps and have come out the other side in not the best state. You know,
I've seen it,
yeah. So have I. Like I deal with it because I've had people come into powerlifting that have been there. And like you mentioned, the relationship with food, the relationship with themselves, like they gain like a little bit of body fat, but a shitload of muscle. Like, I need to go on a cut. You know what I mean? The disruption to their ability, like lads to maintain an erection, girls to have a regular cycle, their skin gets all fucked up. Some people, their fucking hair falls out. Like that's years and years of damage. Whose responsibility is it to curate that though?
Combination of both the client and the coach, I find. At the start of it, it should be clearly laid out. This is what we're going to do in 12 weeks up until the shoot. But realize that there may be consequences depending on how strict we're going to be, and depending on what sort of results you're after. If you're looking to get dick skin shredded, like obviously, as you said, you're probably going to find it hard to get a boner by the end of it, you know?
Fuck that, man.
Fuck that is right. I could think of nothing worse.
Well, do you know, because
But then after that, sorry for cutting
No, go ahead.
But
Go ahead, yeah.
after the photo shoot, then there needs to be a clear roadmap for the next 4, 6, 8 weeks after it.
Do you think that's the stumbling block though, where people like they do the shoot and then it's like fucking like they crash and burn
big time? So one thing I did find when I was coaching photo shoot clients myself back in EQ strength and conditioning. So we have done a good few group photo shoots before, and I really enjoyed them. But one thing I did notice was the clients that really struggled, they had a holiday booked maybe the day after. Yeah. And they're gone to Marbella for the week, and they lose the run of themselves. They could come back 6-7 kilos heavier almost, you know.
But even thinking about how the alcohol is going to hit them after that long abstaining and coming in significantly leaner than the last time they drank, the alcohol is going to hit them 10 times harder. Like that's probably one facet of it as well. Yeah,
or even foods in general. Like they were going out maybe wolfing down a chip or a pizza the night of the photo shoot. At the first maybe photo shoot, I didn't have the experience to educate them and be like, look, probably not the best decision. Whereas by the next time the other photo shoots came up, we had that history and that experience where we were like, look, enjoy the day for what it is, but that evening perhaps pull back on getting a large pizza, a family size sharing pizza for yourself. Have 1 or 2 slices, see how you feel, and leave it at that. When you're full, try your best just to leave it at, you'll feel 10 times better.
Do you know what I wonder though as well? Because even when I've done, like I would do very mild amounts of cutting just to make weight and things like that for comps.
Yeah,
but too. Even at that, and I think that's a smart way to do it personally, but even so, right? Because obviously I don't exist in that sphere where I need to fucking, like I'm not validating myself off how fucking narrow my waist is, like, you know what I mean? But I validate of how much weight I can lift, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think it's a case of, I've seen how, like, because it's the thing, you're most like sensitive to regaining fat after a weight loss phase, because that's when your body's been depleted of this resource for so long. Now there's this influx of surplus calories. Like, I think people misunderstand that your best bet post diet phase is this very careful reverse diet strategy to slowly incrementally reintroduce extra calories, let your body become adapted to that extra intake, because even your gut biome has completely changed. But the reason I ask it is that, like, And I actually forgotten you had first-hand experience with it when I asked the question.
Mm.
I just knew you worked with Ben, and I know Ben has like he gets lads jacked, but like no one's necessarily stepping on a stage. No one's necessarily doing a big elaborate photo shoot.
No.
So it's in the same sphere, but not the same thing. But like I can't think of one time I've seen somebody go through that process and I think they've come out a more functional and capable adult for it. Whereas I've seen negative reactions to powerlifting. Like I've seen people join powerlifting and think they need to become morbidly obese, which is just bizarre. You know what I mean? But I think on a whole, and I think you'll probably agree, from the social aspect to the training and just generally, like I don't think getting strong is ever a downside to anyone's life. I think it's just such a massive net positive.
Mm.
And I really always wonder about the cohort of people that are attracted to photo shoot preps and what drives them into it. Have you ever been tempted to do one?
Yeah, I think I might do one eventually.
Do you think you've got the head for it? Like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be stubborn. Yeah. I would. If I knew that there was something at the end of it, like a goal. So for example, like a weight cut, or I knew that if I lifted X amount of weight, I would qualify for nationals. I'll fucking do it. So I think I'd be able to carry that over to, let's say, a photo shoot prep if I wanted to in the future. But for now, my mind is completely set on, as you say, building strength.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I think fitness is at the moment. I think a lot more people are leaning more towards the performance thing. The rise of Hyrox, CrossFit, powerlifting. Powerlifting is as big as it's ever been, which is class to see. And hopefully it gets even bigger now in the next couple of years with the development of the AB series, how that's going. Like, it's the biggest competition in Europe now. Yeah. Which is so cool. And it's on our back doorstep. But yeah, I do believe, and I try to educate my clients on that as well, is that performance is where it's at. You know,
for longevity as well. For
longevity, just having a goal in the gym. Like, I'm posting random shit like my chin-ups, and the amount of people that are getting in touch and being like, "Oh, I can't wait to do my first bodyweight chin-up" or something like that. That's a huge goal to have, and that's a great goal to have.
You forget, don't you? Like, these are like the things people are like, that's class.
Yeah,
you're just banging out a set. Like,
whereas we are doing them for sport, abs, like as if it's nothing. Or the likes of doing the planks, the weight of planks. Emma McDermott, how much weight does she have on her back?
Yeah, well, in fairness, Emma's like, world-class athlete.
So I know, but it's so fucking impressive.
Hardest person to get on this podcast.
Yeah.
Emma McDermott, 4 times I've invited her.
4 times, 4 turndowns.
Fucking no, she's just always been locked in at a meet or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, heavily requested, need to get it sorted.
Yeah.
But yeah, right, so November's the next one. That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
Pulling for the win.
Yeah, I'm backing myself for it. At least 300 kg on the day. It would be because it's something I've thought about for years. I'd love to be able to pull 300 and say I did it, Yeah. It's a big achievement. I would really, I think it's, if I was able to just pull 300 kg at that competition, I think everything else, it doesn't matter.
You'd be like that meme of the guy in last with the medal and the champagne.
Yeah, holding the medal and champagne, kissing the girl. But I'm in 6th place.
Yeah, listen, man, I'm excited for it. I think, like we talked about, for a big lesson coming out today, get a fucking second phone. And I do think that, regardless to whatever happens in November, I think it's cool to know people are going to be dialed in and watching for Division 1 for a change.
Yeah, for a change is right. For a good change. Get some more eyeballs on it.
Yeah, maybe I'll get one of the other lads on for a chat at some stage.
Do.
All right, we'll leave it there, Mark. Thanks very much.
Perfect. Thank you.